All right, ladies and gents and ladies, man, this will be a, I guess you could say a topic of discussion, but more so around stories. Let's just talk stories, actually. This is a group I run on Facebook. It's a community that I'm building where I just tell stories, man, with my community. You know what I'm saying? I tell stories with you guys. I'm very much so a stories type of guy. I really like creepy stories. I watch people like Mr. Ballin, who is a really big YouTuber, that just tell stories. You know what I'm saying? Just tell stories. And I also tell stories. I tell stories through, or I showcase stories through my brand of other people, as well as myself by holding Zoom calls. And we talk about things that we've gone through in our lives, stories and things of that nature that people share on my, with my brand and things of that nature. However, I want to take this opportunity to share a personal story, you know, um, but at the same time, this story will be pretty unique in and of itself. Um, I got this text. Hold on. So y'all gonna get the story. I'm gonna get right into it. Let me just text this person back. All right, but the story here today will be a pretty brief story, but a story nonetheless that is pretty creepy. It takes place to when I lived in Memphis. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and me and my brother we used to share a room. Just like probably most of y'all. You would share rooms with your brother, things of that nature, and um, you would share a room and may have your bed. He had his bed. I had my bed. We're in an apartment. It's a apartment, maybe upstairs, downstairs. Maybe about five, maybe about 20, 30 units in this neighborhood. We're in one of the units, of course. We're at the bottom floor. So this actually will make more sense as we get it more into the story. But we're at the bottom floor of this apartment. Well, two-bedroom apartment. My sister, was in the room with my mom. Me and my brother had our own room. And it was during the morning of school. We getting ready to go to school. I think it's what, elementary school, I guess you can say. We're in first grade, probably elementary, first grade, somewhere around there. And we're getting ready, getting dressed. And my mom is in her room getting dressed. Me and my brother, we're up in age, what, maybe like 9, 10, 9, 9, 8, 7, somewhere up in there, maybe between 7 and 10. We're getting ready, getting dressed. And my mom's in her room getting ready, getting dressed for work and getting my sister ready. Now in our room, we had blinds, regular blinds that you may have in your own home. However, one of the blinds, again, we're at the bottom floor, by the way, bottom floor of the apartment unit. One of the blinds were bent. They were like bent and broken, actually. And I guess at the time we didn't have curtains, or we didn't maybe have the money for curtains or whatnot. However, that, came about. But we would use bed spread sheets over the blinds, at nighttime, because we knew that one of the blinds were broken. And it's starting to creep me out just telling this story, though, because it was a bit creepy. Just knowing that someone was like, what? Okay. So we would use bed spread sheets over the blinds at nighttime so that no one could see into the room, at nighttime when we were in there. And so we would often hang it up, I guess. And this particular morning, I think the bed spread sheets were still over the blinds. I do think they were. I don't see why they wouldn't have been. However, they could have fell, throughout the night. It could have fallen. And it was probably early. We would get up around maybe like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So the sun wasn't necessarily out yet. It was probably rising, but not necessarily fully out. So it's still a bit dark out. Um, the sheets are, let's say the sheets, let's say the sheets are on. I think we would definitely have the sheets still on. I think my mom would be that cautious to. She's very cautious and very wary in terms of our safety. Even now, as we're older. but I could see her still having it on. So let's say it was on, but we would make sure we tucked it where the blind was broken or like bent. It was like one that was bent, one that was broken. It was like snapped off. So we would tuck it, make sure that we tucked it right there, because if not, someone from the outside could see right into our room. So we're getting ready, getting dressed, and I remember I would always just have like, you know, weariness or cautiousness about that particular section of the blind. I'm like, man, let's make sure we tuck it. I remember being a little kid, just having dreams about that apartment and just creepiness about that. There was something about that apartment that was just creepy. When you live in an apartment, you know, you have people on top of you, underneath you, around you, all different sections. You can hear them through the walls, where you just don't really know who's living with you. You know, even in my dorm room when I lived, in the dorm rooms in college, it was just like you don't know who your roommates really are. When you all you have is this door protecting you, but you really don't know who's beside you. You really don't know their background, their history, who they are. Sex offenders, rapists, murderers. You don't really now in college. I don't know if you necessarily they would have people like that, but probably. But especially in apartments, you really don't know who you're dealing with, who these people are. And so get to that point to where we're getting dressed. The bedspread sheet is up. You know, let's just go with that. However, I guess we must have maybe the wind, maybe moving around, fumbling in the room. We kind of somehow knocked it to where it wasn't tucked in, or maybe we forgot that night. Maybe that night we wasn't as cautious, and so that night or that early in that morning when we were getting ready for school, the blind was exposed. So if you were inside of the room, you could look at the window and see where that the blind was broken off, and you can kind of see out into the night. Again, it's still kind of dark, so you couldn't really tell if anyone's there. But the sun was slowly rising. It was slowly rising. So we're getting dressed. Me and my brother, I think we were kind of naked. You know, being little kids, little boys, you really didn't care if you saw each other. Just like, hey man, we in our underwear, running around trying to get ready. However, as this was happening, I don't know how long. It's creepy even to think about it now. I don't know how long it took for my mom to actually finally come in there. But I guess as soon as we were getting ready and we were almost ready and done, getting ready and getting dressed, my mom comes into the doorway of our room. We're getting dressed and things like that. And as we're coming, and the sun is rising, so I'm assuming in some sense there was some illumination of light to where she could see if someone was like actually at the window. But she's standing in the doorway of our room, and she pretty much tells me and my brother, hey, you both come here now. It was a tone in her voice. The only other time I had known that tone was when I knew I was in trouble. When I knew that I had done something wrong, and I was about to get it. I was about to really get it. It was that tone. It was a sharp tone of just, don't say anything to me. Do not debate me. You get here now. You do what I say. And it was hey, come here, go in my room right now. It was like that. And me and my brother, again, such a great relationship with my mom. We trusted her when she said that, or when we heard that, we just knew whatever it is, we need to go. Dropped everything and just ran into her room. It was so amazing thinking about that now. But we do that. We run into her room. I think she then closed our door. And then after she closed our door, she had us, sit on her bed. We're in her room. We're all just looking at her and hovering around. Eyes big, wide. My heart's pounding in my chest because I'm just like, what's about to happen? You know what I'm saying? We've been through like tornadoes and things of that nature. We've never really had any other incident where it included someone. But apparently, as she, as we were all looking around, I'm looking up at her and I can see her. She's making her way towards her window, which was pretty much on the same side of the building as our window. So she could, so pretty much like whatever was going on at our window, she could see it from her window because it was like right there. So she then peers out of the window, and all I see are her eyes, angry, like fire, like I will, like she's about to kill someone, type of anger. And I'm just peering at her, looking at her eyes, and my heart's pounding. I don't know what's going on. And her eyes are just scanning. They're slowly moving from the left, which is where our window is, to the right. And she's just peering. Eyes are fire red. She's peering, fire red. And then I guess whatever she was looking at has finally got out of eyesight to where she couldn't necessarily see them anymore. So then she comes from the window and looks at us and tells us someone was looking in the window. There was a peeping Tom. She had told us about, I think, a little bit about peeping Tom. We kind of knew what that was a little bit, but she kind of explained to us there was a man, someone looking at you all while you were in your room. They were looking, and so we had no. And again, my mom was pretty transparent with us in regards to the world, how things happen, how kids get kidnapped, and people molest people, and all this type of stuff. So we kind of had an idea already of like why he was doing what he was doing. But it was still just hard to believe, being so young and small. You're just like, wow, what the heck? I just wanted to protect my mom, actually. I'm very much so a mama's boy. So I'm like, hey, as long as he ain't coming here with my mom, that's kind of what I'm thinking even at that age. But yeah, he was making his way. I guess he was looking at us and saw my mom when she came into the doorway, noticed her, noticed how she told us to run into her room. And then when he saw that, and then after he then saw her close the door and then peer out of her window, he then got up really fast and then moved away from the window and was walking away from the window, trying to come out of eyesight view, so that he wouldn't get caught. He knew that he had been caught and was looking at my mom. So he was eyeing her as he was walking off, looking at her. So they were just eye to eye. And yeah, after that, she called the police. They surveillanced the area, searching for him. Never found him. Ooh, this a story right here, y'all. This is a story right here, man. A story I've never really shared with that many people, but I'm definitely sharing it with you guys. I think this was something that I wanted to open up with. I don't know how I came up with this story in my head, but it's just a story I kind of felt I needed to share, or just wanted to share, not really needed to. I don't have any trauma from it, but it is creepy when I think about it, because to think of a man that was peering at two boys, little boys. Can you imagine what and this is a neighborhood, right? A lot of kids were in this neighborhood. Can you imagine what apartment building he lived in? What window he was peeking out of next? What kids he was staring at next? For all you filthy, nasty, disgusting men out there, man, that love to do this type of mess, I hope y'all get locked up. You know what I'm saying? I hope justice come for you. And if anything, man, seek the Lord. You know what I'm saying? What kind of stuff must you be going through to even be thinking about stuff like that? But nonetheless, this was a story, man. A story I wanted to add to my Let's Just Talk Stories community, man. I'll be posting this to YouTube. You can also join the group. My Facebook group is in the description. The link is in the description below of the YouTube video, as well as, I have both a public and a private group. The private group is not free. The public group is free. With the private group, man, we'll be doing stories like this every week, just sharing stories like this. So if you find these interesting, man, feel free to join either group. But nonetheless, man, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until the next story, peace.